Hey guys, this is Crystal with Coffin Up Stitches. Welcome back. Today I just want to teach you guys this simple granny square pattern. This is probably something you see in every day. People use it for cardigans, they use it for jumpers, they use it for pants, they use it for purses, fingerless gloves, headbands. It's a very versatile pattern. You can expand it more than the 4 rounds that I have here. If I'm doing a patch blanket, I normally don't go no more than 7 just because it gets a little bit wonky and things, and the smaller ones are easier to block. You can actually block them with the heat of just putting your hand on it and kind of block them that way. Do not pay attention to my ends I have not weaved in. I normally do that at the end of a blanket, and this will hopefully be a blanket for a little boy when I get done with this pattern and everything. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys this today. It's part of my Granny Square Sunday series. So the things that you're going to need is a 4-weight yarn. I will be using this teal and this white color. The teal color is from Hobby Lobby. It's Crafter's Secret. It's the color Splash. And then the white that I'm using is just a Red Heart plain white. It's very bright. It looks very clean with this. I don't think it's really coming through the camera as well as I'd like it to. It looks more like a blue from what I'm seeing on here, but this is definitely a really bright teal. So a 4-weight yarn is what I'm using today. You can use any weight, so if you want to use a smaller weight, you can. Just use the hook size that it asks for, or you can go up a hook size if you want it to be more lacy. My hook that I'm using today is my favorite hook. Is the I 5.25 by Boy. I want to get the 5.5 because that's the newer version that I've noticed. They're more 5.5s now instead of 5.25, so I'll eventually get one. But this is the one I'm using today. And then you will obviously need scissors to snip your yarn. This is Fiskars. I got these at Walmart. You can also get them at Joann's. I think those about $15, maybe $16 at Walmart. But they have a little button on them, and you just slide it down, and it releases, so you can cut, and then slide it back up. This has saved a mini of a Notion bag, a project bag. I used to carry the little swans around that you can get in the embroidery section, and I kept making holes and everything. So this has saved a mini of a bag. Notion bag or project bag, whichever one you tend to carry more, but these are a lifesaver on saving that stuff, and you don't have to worry about them getting down in there and maybe accidentally clipping some of your yarn. So these have been a lifesaver. I've had these maybe for about 2 years now, but I love these. These are my favorite ones to get. Also, another thing I'm going to be showing you today is how to change your color out if you want to change, or how to continue with the same color, because it's a different technique if you want to continue in the same color. So I will be showing you guys that today. Like I said, I did not do my ends because I do them at the end, but if you want to do them as you go, that would be a great, neat idea. It keeps your stuff neat. I just really detest weaving in my ends, but you can go ahead and get you some tapestry needles, yarn needles, if you want to go ahead and sew those in as you go. This is a great project to take with you to work, to do on break, or if you're going to be riding in a car, because you can make these little bitty ones in like 5 minutes. Of course, this video is going to be longer, but within 5 minutes you can have one of these made and take them home, set them up, and not have to carry your whole project around with you. So it's not big and bulky. You can just carry the yarn you need for that time. So let's go ahead and get started today. I'm going to start out with a slip knot. I detest doing magic rings. They just do not work for me well. There is some things where it does look better, and I will use a magic ring, but if I can get away with just doing some chains and doing it that way, then I absolutely do it, and that's how we're going to do this today. So with the traditional granny square, we're going to do 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I always go back and count just to make sure that maybe my mouth wasn't ahead of my brain or my hands. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just count those V's. Do not count the loop on your hook. That does not count as a stitch. So after you've counted those and made sure you have 4, then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that very first chain you made next to your slip knot. So slip stitch into that. And then we're going to chain 3 up to start this off. 3. And what this chain 3 does is it brings it up to the height that you're going to need for your stitches. And in this case, not in every crochet pattern, but in this case, in this pattern I'm showing you, this does count as a double crochet. So we're going to be doing shells here. If you can see, this is a shell, this is a shell, that's a shell, and this is a shell. This is actually where I started, but it looks like the rest of them, especially when I get all those ends weaved in. So each little block on this is going to be considered a shell stitch, and there's 3 in this one. So we've already got the one there that we started the chain 3 with, so we're going to do another one, and it's going to be double crochet. So you wrap your yarn around your hook, you stab it through that hole, you pull up a loop, you wrap your hook again. You're going to have 3 on there, and then you wrap your hook and you pull through 2, wrap your yarn around your hook and pull through 2. Do that one more time. And then we're going to be ready to make a corner. So how we're going to do that starting out is we chain 2. And then we do 3 more shells. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then we're going to chain 2 more after that one. 1, 2, and then we're going to do another set of shells. So that's going to be 3 more double crochet, and we are going in this ring right here that you made, the little hole. That's all we're worried about right now. So 3 more double crochets. There's 1. Wrap your hook, stab it through the hole, pull up a loop. You're going to have 3. Wrap it, pull through 2, wrap it, pull through 2. Do that one more time, and that will be another set of shells that we have. Hook keeps slipping out of my yarn. So far we've got 1, 2, 3 sets, so we need 1 more set. So we're going to chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets to make another shell stitch. Sorry about that, I had to get a little bit more yarn. I really should have it coming from the other side, but I do not today. So when you come here, you've already got 1 corner, another corner, and another corner. So what you're going to do here is chain 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to go here where you done that 3 chains, and you're going to count up 1, 2, 3 into that very top one, and we're just going to stick our hook in there. This is some rough yarn. This is not my favorite, but I can soften it up when I put it in the dryer and stuff with some fabric softener. If I can get it through that hole there, it's not wanting to come through. Oh, like I said, this is not my favorite yarn. It's kind of wanting to split on me there. It's just really tough. Okay. I don't know what is going on here. I cannot get this pulled through. There we go. Okay, so we got the, finally got that pulled in there, and there's the other one. So at this point, I normally kind of like to take my hook out, lay this flat, find the your little quarter points, and kind of stretch that out. You can see it's already going into a square. So here's a corner, here's a corner, here's a corner, and here's a corner. So kind of stretch that out. You still got your hole there. Tighten that back down. Now I'm going to be changing color, so I'm going to go ahead and snip this. You don't need a big tail, just a little one. And then you're just going to kind of secure that off, pull it through, and tighten that up a little bit. And then this is where if you want to keep your square neat, where you would want to go in and weave in your ends. Let's move the blue out of the way. Let's find the end of my white here. There it goes. And we're going to do the same thing with it. We're just going to start with a little slip knot. And how I do mine is I just wrap, put the working yarn behind that first wrap, and then send it under and kind of tighten it down that way. That's my easiest way that I like doing. So if you're changing color, what you're going to do is you're just going to find another corner, not the one you ended in, but find this corner here. Slip stitch. So with corners, we are going to do a shell, chain two, shell. So in every corner, it's shell, chain two, shell, shell, chain two, shell. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and remember, this actually counts as a double crochet in this pattern. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets in this corner, 2 more, and then like I said, it's shell, chain 2, shell. So then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to do 3 more shells. So that's 1 more shell, which is 3 double crochets. So when I get right here, you know, you have the edge, your straight edges right through here and everything. So what I'm going to do, now I was originally taught not to do this, but I think it makes it neater, it makes it lay better when you do a regular granny, especially when you go to block, and I think it just lays neater and it lays flatter, especially if you have a small one and you're going to do it with your hand. So what I do is I chain 1, and then that's going to take us over here to this next corner. So we're going to do 3 double crochets for our first shell. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 2 chains. So 1, 2 chains. And then 3 more double crochet in this corner. So pretty much your second round is just corners. So it's shell, chain 2, shell, shell, chain 2, shell. And don't forget, after you get done with this corner here, that you're going to chain 1 to get over to this next corner that we're going to do. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. We chained 1, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. So we wrap the yarn around the hook, pull up a loop. You're going to have 3 on your hook, wrap your hook again, pull through 2, pull through 2. So let's do 2 more of those double crochets, wrap your hook, put it through the corner hole, pull up a loop. You'll have 3, wrap your hook again, go through 2, wrap your hook again, go through the last 2. Then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, wrap your hook, go through to do another double crochet, another set of shells, 1, 2, and 3. Again, got to skip over to this other one, so we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip right over here and go right back into doing another set of shells. So 3 double crochets. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And then you're going to do 2 chains. 1, 2, and another set of shells. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 1. When you get to the end, you're going to count up 1, 2, 3, and you're going to go into that third one where you made that chain at. Slip that hook in there, pull it through. This yarn is very splitty, it keeps wanting to get caught. There we go. And pull it through to do a slip stitch. So if you want to change color again, this is where you would fasten off again and then just add the other color in a corner. Now, I'm not going to do that on this round because I want to show you how you would do it if you was going to continue with the same color. Because you obviously are not stopping in a corner, you're stopping kind of in the middle. So what you're going to do is instead of going forward, you're going to kind of go backwards into this one right here. And go through and chain and slip stitch, okay? Then you're going to chain up 3. There's 1. Well, that did not look good, did it, guys? So you're going to kind of reverse and go back into that big hole where you've got that chain 1 at. You're going to slip stitch right there. And then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to put 2 more right here in this, and you can turn your work if you want to. I normally don't just because I like continuing on the same side. But you're going to put 2 more double crochets in here to make a shell, okay? And then you're going to be ready to go into this corner. So we're going to chain 1 and do a set of shells, which is going to be 3, do a set of shells, which is going to be 3 double crochets. So we've done 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more double crochets. So we're going to chain 1 here. And then we're going to go into 3 double crochets right here. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, chain 1 again, go into this corner right here. We're going to do another set of shells. So wrap your hook, go through that corner hole, pull up, have 3 loops. Now have 3 loops on your hook, wrap your yarn again, pull through 2, wrap your yarn, pull through 2. Do 1 more. and then we're going to chain 2. Then a set of another shells, which is going to be 3 double crochets. Then we're going to go right here and do another set of just shells. We're not doing a corner, so when you get to these bigger holes right here, you're just going to put a set of shells in those. There's 1, 2, 3. You can kind of start seeing it come together. It looks a little odd right now, but you can see where you've already got this half of the square done. So then you're going to chain 1. Now, like I said, that chain 1 is optional. If you don't want yours to be a little bit more lacy looking, you cannot chain that 1, but I like mine to be a little bit more lacy looking when I do mine. But if you want it to be a tighter granny, you don't have to do that chain 1. We're going to go over here in this corner, and we're going to do 3 more double crochets. Chain 2, and do another shell stitch. So it's shell, chain, chain, shell, shell, chain, chain, shell. You'll just go ahead and get used to saying it in your head, and you'll be dreaming it at night, and you'll be running on shell, chain, chain, shell. So after you do that, you're going to do another shell stitch in this hole on the side here. One chain, and we come to another corner, so it's going to be shell, chain, chain, shell, shell, chain, chain, shell. I know I probably sound like a broken record, but I really want you guys to remember that in these corners is a shell, chain, chain, shell. And each shell is 3 double crochets. So we're back here where we started. So here you're not going to actually have this one on the side to go in because that's where we started. So what you're going to do is you're just going to count the 3 up. 1, 2, and then 3. I always use the tip of my hook to get up underneath there. I feel like it just helps me weed my way through a little bit better than just stabbing it in there. And then you're just going to slip stitch that on through. This yarn has no slide on it. This is why I don't like using a whole lot of Red Heart, and it's really bad for splitting. So at this point, I'm going to be changing colors again back to the turquoise, but you can put your fingers in each corner and kind of just give it a nice little tug to kind of really get that square shape going. Lay your hand on it flat if you want to kind of see how it's looking at this point. So right now we've got 3 rounds on our little granny square. And I'm going to change my colors again, so just going to give it a little snip. A little snippy snip. And we're going to pull this through and batten down the hatches. Grab your other color of yarn. Mine is turquoise. You can use any color you want to. If you want each round to be a different color, then girl or boy, go ahead and do it. We can use the colors of the rainbow if you want to. I think that would be a really cool big granny square if you just kept going and going and going. Or if you done like a row of one color for the rainbow and then the next row, that would be really pretty, and then connect it all with a white or a black. I think that would be really pretty. So slip stitch, Start in any corner. It don't matter. You don't have to start in a corner. Once you get this far, I just prefer, I feel like it looks neater when you start in a corner. But if you wanted to, you could start here or here. It don't matter once you get to this point. But I like starting mine in the corners. Let's get my working yarn here. And we're just going to slip stitch that in there like we did the first time when we changed to the white. And we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Like I said earlier, this will count as a double crochet. This is not like if you're making a blanket that's rectangular and you've got to do 2 and then start the double crochet. This actually counts as a double crochet in this pattern. So I'm just going to kind of do this one and not say anything and let you guys just kind of maybe watch. You can pause it, rewind it, fast forward it, whatever you want to do. And just as a reminder, when you change color and you start in a corner, you're going to do that whole first shell. Just as a reminder. Move my yarn over here. It's not wanting to pull out good, so I moved it. Chain 1, shell, chain, chain, shell. Before I forget, I do want to apologize not getting this out on actual Sunday. I had a lot going on today, so I had actually not even remembered that today was Sunday till it was way late. So I apologize for not actually getting this out on Sunday. It will probably be coming out on Monday, but I'm still calling it Granny Square Sunday because I plan on doing this for a minute. So I just want to apologize to you guys before I forgot to put it in the description about not getting this out on Sunday. So I hope nobody was looking for it, and I definitely dropped the ball today. I have made plenty of these blankets. I just normally end up gifting them. Like I said, this will be a blanket for a little boy when I get done. His mom's favorite color is purple, so they're wanting me to add purple in there somehow. I'm not really sure how well that's going to go. And then I also have a little girl's blanket that I need to do, and they're both going to be here in January. So I have a little bit of time to get them done. So the next granny square will probably be that little girl's blanket that I'll be doing as far as a different granny square pattern. Chain 1 when you come to the end, count up to that 3rd stitch. Just kind of stab your hook in there, pull the yarn through, and then that is it for our granny square. Just as simple as that. Like I said, you'll be doing shell, chain 2 shell in your sleep, because when I learned this pattern, that was the one thing I wanted to remember was shell, chain 2 shell, shell, chain 2 shell, shell, chain, shell, you know. So it's just any way you can remember it. Like I said, you can change the color as much as you want, or you can do a solid granny square. If you have a striped yarn, those are great for these types of projects. If you don't want to have all these weaves to weave in, you can do a striped yarn. But this is, like I said, this is going to be the most important basic thing that you can have in your crochet encyclopedia. So this is, like I said, just a regular granny square. If you wasn't able to catch last week's video, it was a solid granny square. And this is what those look like, just as a refresher. This is actually a blanket I'm making for me. It's got a bunch of different colors in it, but you don't really want to find the corners on these really and stretch those out, but you can. But it starts the same way, but just go and watch last week's video if you want to learn the solid granny square. And this week we learned the regular granny square. So even though it's the same name, we have a solid, and I call this the more traditional one because this is probably the one everybody has seen. But you can do everything I mentioned with the regular one that you can do with the solid one as well. There's people that's made wrote books about granny squares, several granny squares. But if you guys have any questions or comments, put it down in below. If in the comment box, if you enjoyed this video, drop me a heart or a pumpkin since it's getting spooky season, or a skull or a bat. I love bats, love pumpkins. But just leave me a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys with another tutorial on granny squares next Sunday.